Hi, good evening, guys. Today's session will be headed by Sri Adtiya Satheesh, General Manager, CICON Engineers Pvt Ltd. Mr. Satheesh is a very senior colleague of mine, and he will be delivering you talk on project management techniques. About Mr. Satheesh, he has over 30 plus year experience in our civil engineering industry and have handled projects worth more than 5,000 crores so far. And few major and prominent works so far handled by Mr. Satheesh are Intercontinental Dhaka, a project worth 850 crores, and it's been done for Bangladesh Service Limited. And Andaz Aero City, New Delhi, project cost worth 1,200 crores, and which consisted of Andaz Hotel and Andaz Service Apartments. Altogether, it was over 1.25 million square feet project. It's a very prominent hotel in Bangalore, Shangri-La, and the project worth more than 750 crores with built-up area over 6 lakh square feet. Infosys projects in the very Infosys campus situated in Mysuru was also handled by Mr. Satheesh for over 250 crores with built-up area more than 2.5 lakh square feet. The prominent hotel for embassy, Hotel Four Seasons, Bangalore, and even this is worth more than 450 crores with a built-up area over 6 lakh square feet. Is also handled JW Marriott, Nero City, New Delhi. It was costed worth more than 750 crores with built-up area more than 1.2 million square feet. Few other projects like Taj Vivanta, situated in Bangalore, and Hyatt Regency in Ahmedabad. And this is what Mr. Satheesh is, and he will be now coming on live to address you. Sir, you can screen your share and come online. Sachin, can you unmute Mr. Satheesh, sir?
Yes, I have already given the access. Yes.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Are you able to listen me?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
For the introduction, welcome all of you guys on the board, which is a path-making journey for a civil engineer. It will be more effect over the period of time. So the project management in India, and it has been here for more than 3 decades in a professional format. Now the things shapes due to lot of systems and management. So it is that the young engineers who is coming out, they should aware of what is project management, what is the role of in delivering a project, what are all the total overview. So we are not going into in depth of each of the thing, but it is an overview, total outline of a project management. You will be able the terminologies, few of the terminologies and the few of the concepts. It's not going to be a 100% coverage of project management practice, because that will go something around 46, 60 or 42, 60 hours. So in a 1 hour time, we'll have a crash course, just an outline of the project management. Okay. So let us start with practice in concept. It is not new one, which had been more than 5,000-year-old technique, which has been put in a format and it has been presented to us. There are major terminology which has to be understood basically in the project management. First is, what is project? See, project is an temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service or a result with definite start and end and aligned with the organizational goals. Normally, a project will be launched by any organization or maybe an individual with certain result, expected result in mind, and that will be unique. See, you may be constructing 100 houses, but not all the 100 houses. So only one recurrence of a project only will happen. That's why it has been called unique. That particular problem faced, that whatever may be the client requirement or the condition or the resources problems or design issues, those things will be unique to a project. And if you goes on constructing more number of same repeated villas houses also, it is not the same. It is a similar project, but every project is unique in nature. So if you construct one villa, it is not granted that you will be delivering the next villa with the set of things. No, you cannot deliver it. There will be lot of variations. So that's the reason it has been. Each project is unique. You might have done 1,000 projects, but all the 1,000 is unique. It may be similar in nature, but it is not exact the same. And it is a temporary endeavor. Why it has been called? It has a definite start and definite end. Not necessary that it has to be short. Suppose say if you are going for a nuclear power project, it runs for 25 to 30 years of time, but it has a definite start and definite end. So those things are the important of the project. And there is a line, there's a margin line, I can say, between the operation and project. Nowadays, people got confused with the operation and project. For example, if one system is, PC is broke down, it is not working, and some technicians called to fix it. Some people used to say that as a project. No, definitely, because when you develop a project, you know what you are developing, what is the making the project, and where it is going to end, and the end, what is the result it is going to give, success, what it is going to deliver, if it is a failure, what it is going to deliver. Everything is known to you. That is called project. The unknown. So suppose repairing a PC, you don't know what is inside. What is went wrong, you don't know. Either you or something, this thing, that thing, nothing. You know only the problem. But those things without a end result fixed, that is called operations. Normally, it is a recurring sequence. The same operation, same system of things will come continuously. There is no deviation. But in project, everything will have a the methodology, the specification will have a deviation. The procedure of doing it will have a deviation. The sequence will have a deviation. So the project is temporary in nature. So that is the main thing which you have to differentiate yourself. What is project and operation? Don't get mixed project. That's the first thing. Then second, the project management. Its project management is nothing but application of knowledge and tools and techniques used to the activities of the project. So right from the design stage to till handing over, there are thousands and thousands of activities has been broken down into sequence. Those each and every activity is meant to deliver the project as per the requirement of the project or the organization goal. Both will be there. So the skills what you learn from the project management practice and tool gaining from this project management practice and the techniques, all those things, combination of all these appliance along with your knowledge input, and which is going to be the output of that for each and every activity. So now the project management has been streamlined. Project Management Institute, which is established in 1969 in USA. Actually, this has been initially started for a defense project and defense sector initially. Then it has been get into all the things. And this technique, it is not no way new to us. It is a very old technique, 5,000, 6,000, 7-year old technique only, which we are getting in the new format. So for construction of pyramid, for construction of Red Fort, Pudipinar, take our Mysore Palace, take our Bangalore Palace, Times, Keras Dam, all those things are done using a project management only. So time doesn't have a separate subject. It comes under construction management. So it has been further refined and specialized as a project management practice. It requires a special focus and dedication. Now, project management is evolved as a topmost subject in a project. That too in civil construction project management, that is topmost subject. So which nearly covers everything of a project. Right? Whether the project will be able to get complete, is able to get there is a business analysis, whether the project will be success, whether the project will produce profit. All those things also can be derived from project management. The standards and techniques are available in project management. So once you learn all those things, you will be mastering that. Any type of project, you can write from the scratch till the handing over, till the launching, you can. Okay. It has a few different guidelines. There are fundamental standards, practice standards and frameworks, practice and standards of project. These are all 4 segments of different guidelines for the whole project. Okay. The whole project means, suppose say if one person want to build one hotel, that's what his thought is. So he is availing a project management consultancy and appointing a consultancy. Then the consultancy has to go for a feasibility. Right from the feasibility, then they have to move into the schematic stage. When schematic stage, there the business analysis has to get complete, and what will be the return on investment, all those share. Then the stakeholder will be convinced, the owner being the stakeholder, okay, you go ahead and develop the project. There start the things called project charter. Further downline, they will take down the things, all the stages through these different guidelines put together. And see, these are all the guidelines. These are all not the rules. There is a difference between guidelines and rules. These guidelines are foundation stones over which, based on your organizational requirement and your project requirement, you can build up the requirement of what it is. Fall within the guidelines. It should not deviate. In case if it deviating also, it should follow the code of conduct and ethics of project management practice. And go beyond them. It should fall within them. So this is the basic guidelines. Based on the guidelines, you can do any drafting, anything, any system devising, anything you can do. It is up to you, up to the individual who script down the things. It is not the PMBOCO is going to be a final. No, it's not like that. Those are all the foundation stones with the basic guidelines. From there, you have to evolve for each and every project separately. So that's why it has been called guide, called as a project management law. It has been called a set of guidelines. See, if you have the fundamental standards, I'll tell you, there are things called standard for earned value management, risk management for portfolios, programs, and projects. And what is this portfolio, programs, and projects? Projects, you may be understanding what we are doing, one construction of a college or a factory, that is a project. Like that, group of projects together, same type of thing. Suppose say one organization wants a lot of projects. One set of project is a hospitality. hotels. Another set of project is called commercial spaces for IT space. You can say for IT space. Another one is commercial space where the retail shops and other malls and other things. Another one, they want to develop a warehouse. That different types of project will be grouped together and put in a, there will be a head of program, warehouse, logistic park, one head, hospitality, one head will be there. And say IT spaces, one head will be there. So offices, one space will be there. Shopping malls, all those things separate. Then there, if they have a residential things, that will be separately. All these things under a program management group. It is grouped as a project, which will be, suppose all the residential will be in a group and segment wise it will be in group. That is called program. All those program will be under a portfolio. Sometimes what happens in the portfolio, along with the program and project, there will be some operation need also will be in place. Because when we are going for a handing over format, the operation team has to come. Suppose one existing hotel is there, we are going for expansion or renovating. So there, from there, we have to take the operation team and we have to run it with their stipulation and rules and regulation, and we have to complete and hand over. So there will be operations also. So that may be directly only the operation also, it may come under portfolio. It may be a running factory which may come under portfolio also. Portfolios will have program and projects. Programs will have n number of projects which may be grouped together as a program. Suppose a energy package, you can say hospitality project, hospital projects, you can say, or institutional projects, you can say, residential projects, you can say, that will be grouped. There may be a number of projects which will come under the program group. Okay. Then there is a standard for organizational project management. There's how an organization has to put up a project management. Then PMI guideline, Project Management Institute guide to business analysis. How to do a business analysis. Right from the feasibility study, when you are moving, you have to do a business analysis. What is going to be the outcome of the project? What is going to be the return of investment, duration of the project, when the fund is required, how we are going to generate the fund, how it is going to pay it back, how it is going to give you the return. All those things will be covered in the business analysis, whether the project is profitable or not. Profit means when that ROI period starts. It may be 3 year, 5 year, 10 year down the line. Decisions and patterns will be decided on the fund flow and other things. Then PMBOK guide, 6th edition. For example, this is called the Project Management Body of Knowledge. It's a guide. The guide to the project management body of knowledge. It's again a guide only. It's not a rule book. You can say, you can refer it, you can build it across. So it is for, it is you have to make according to your tailor-made requirement. And again, you have to fall within the frame. You should not go beyond the frame. Then there is a management and there is a standard management. These are all the foundational. Okay, when you are doing, you will be doing PMP based on PMBOK guidelines. After you become a project manager and professional, to go further in the hierarchy level, you have to learn all these standards and you have to understand, because when you are studying PMBOK, you will be having an overview of all these things. In-depth study won't be there. Then you can get into in-depth study and understand it, so that a lot of things will be known to you and you can be a core professional in project management. Yeah, see, various phases for process interaction. See, the project management body of knowledge gives you a lot of process where you have to give an input and you have to apply the tools and techniques where it will give. That is what required in each and every stage. Then what will happen? Finally, it will take you to the deliverance of the project. For example, it has a 10 knowledge areas. It is right from integration, communication, resource management, quality management, procurement management. Like that, it has a 10 knowledge areas. There will be input you have to give and use the tools and techniques, so you will get output for that. So which will be used in a different process group of a project. Okay, and in the project cycle, those are all interbuilt and overlapped one. So I will explain you in the next consecutive slide. It is going to get used. Okay, so first we'll talk about the project life cycle. See, project life cycle have a 3 phases. One is starting phase, another is execution phase, then is a closure phase. In the starting phase, right from the feasibility study, approval by the stakeholder, developing the charter and schematic drawings, and getting into GFC and the procurement management, what some people call, or the tender event management, and design deliverables, and bringing the contractor on board, getting the necessary statutory approvals. All those things come to the starting phase. Once these things are set in only, you can start the execution. Then comes the execution phase, which follows the closure of a tender. If one contractor tendering is closed, that guy will move into the execution phase, taking the GFC drawing. And he will complete his part. Then it will come to a closure phase. When he complete his part, come in closure phase. Okay, so this is the phase of a project life cycle. All the contractor, all the contracting company or PMC, everybody has to come into this project life cycle. Yeah, project has to come into this life cycle. Starting, execution, and closure. These are all 3 main phases of a project life cycle, which will be divided into 5 process groups. The 3 is divided into 5 process groups. First one is called initiation, where you have to initiate a project. Initiation of a project is nothing but taking the approval of the stakeholder, prime stakeholder, what we call as a owner. He say, okay, my budget is 800 crores. No, my budget is 150 crore. You have to build this factory, including land. You find out the land which is acceptable to me. Then you get ready the design and start the execution. That has been given. That is the first step. Then you will be looking out for the land with the companies or agencies, individuals, like KDV industrial area, or maybe ownership land. You may be going through companies like Cushman Wakefield, the JLL, Colliers, MNCs or Indian companies, and you will be identifying the parcel of land, what is required for it. Then, after finalizing the land, based on that land area and where the land is located, you have to go for a statutory approval. To go for a statutory approval, you require a drawing. So, to manage this process, you have to appoint one project manager. That project manager should know all the phases what we are discussing now. Yeah, see, one has to just give the money and green flag, go ahead. That's what he wants. Next, what he wants is when we are going to start the project on ground, first point. Last point, when you are going to make an inauguration. Only 3 things you will be getting involved. That's what a owner or a corporation or a corporate company is looking into. All other things will be dealt by the project management consultant. Only effort put by the owners will be to identify the project management consultants in line with, suppose if they are going for hospitality, then there will be an operator will be involved. Industrial building, so he will be directly getting the bids and comparing, and he will finalize the things, and he will appoint a project management consultant. Then that consultant will take forward overall the consultant required to build the drawing, statutory approval. So he will start with the architect, then with the structural consultant, then he'll go for services consultant, then he may go for FLS, fire life safety. Nowadays it is a law. There will be a consultant, there will be IT consultant, and maybe in some special type of machineries, there will be machine foundation designs, and maybe interior designer. So when you services, if you get into plumbing and sanitary and consultant, IT consultant, like that, the instrumentation consultant, and there may be in factories where the air compressor pneumatic system will come in. So that has a special consultant. So like that, the group of 16, 17 consultants, group of 16, 17 consultant, just so 16, 17 consultants will group together, and those consultants will be managed by the project management consultant. He is the node for the delivery. That is first part. After appointing the consultant, the drawing will be in different stages. Initially, you won't get a 100% good for construction drawing. There will be a drawing ready, schematic drawing, which will produce the scheme, how it is, what will be the floor area, where it is coming, what it is coming. It's in a nutshell. It is not so detailed, but it will give you a whole view how that there, how it will look like. Then get into the detail based on the requirement of the factory industries, laws, and other things. So a lot of things will happen like that. Then FLS consultant, where the width of the door, all the sprinklers location, all those things will be taken in the concept stage. After the concept stage, it will go to DD, design stage, design deliverable stage, where you will get a 50% of the DD done. Then you can go for a submission to the statutory approval. Without that completion, if you apply, there will be a lot of queries from the statutory body and they will reject it. So once you cross the 50, you are able to apply for a statutory. There are 14 to 21 NOCs depending on the area you have to avail. That process will happen based on these drawings only. Along with that, they have to give the technical specification, what is the fire rating, what is the seismic zone, what is the design consideration, Richter scale it will say, what is the soil condition, what is the foundation is given, what is the wind speed over there, if it is falls within the aerospace area, what is the maximum height permitted, what is the present height of the proposed building. All those things will cover in the DD drawing that will be submitted. Once that approval comes only, we are able to start the work in ground. In meantime, what will happen when we come to 100%, 50% DD itself, there will be a set of tender drawing will be ready. Those tender will be ready, quantity will be taken off, and those quantities will be and the tender will be called for different packages. And there will be a process of pre-bid meeting, 1 or 2 pre-bid meeting to explain the clarification. Maybe some of the clarification people assume and presume something to everybody should be on the same line. So there will be a meeting, then it will be opened and it will be reviewed. And please note that in the private, it is not that the low the right bidder. No. It will be correlated with the performance and delivery, consistency of the delivery. If a lowest bidder is not necessarily a good delivery man of a project, but at the same time, if it is falls above the budget, the highest bidder is falls above your budget, so he is a very good guy also, you cannot take him on. That is one thing. So you have to play in between your budget and the performance of the contractor, the vendor. You can say a vendor. How reliable he is, how consistent he is, and what is the risk in giving contract to him. history, this analysis used to happen. There is a tender evolution process is there. Those process things will happen in the initiation stage. So based on that only, tenderer will be award with work. Sometime it will go to L2, L3, L4 also, because all the three downline doesn't have a performance consistency and assured delivery. The owner doesn't want to take a risk where he will be in turn having a contract with another company for the produce of this factory on so and so date. He don't want to risk anything. So what are all the things falls within the budget? If it is bit higher within his budget, he will go for even L4. So that is the normal practice in the private, and everything will be transparent. No hide and seek rule here. Why L1, L2 is ruled out? There will be a risk give. These are all the risks associated with these guys. So we cannot take them. If we take them, we will get somewhere in the delivering of the project with the delays, which in turn gives us a cost to overrun. So we cannot take them. Those write-ups will be there. So then after this initiation stage and contractor is on board, so they have to be given with good for construction projects. So automatically over this period of time, this 100% DD will get complete. Then we will say CD, construction drawing, or good for construction. Okay, GFCD or CD. Those drawings will be released. Based on that only, the work will happen. See what happened? This 50% DD will have an overlap over the planning also. The reason is when it is going to be a fast track project, there will be early call of tender in the initiation phase. Normally it falls on the planning phase. Sometimes it comes on the initiation phase also, based on the speed of the project. If it is a fast track project, every day counts. So they will initiate it well in advance. So after completion of concept stage drawing, so they will go for a tender drawing, and immediately they will go for a tender document and release the thing. The process will take time, so they will move on. Then before starting of planning stage itself, contractor will be on board. So the next is a planning stage. In the planning stage, there will be a lot of planning will happen. Normally, this plan, it will be partly with the PMC company and partly with the contractor. What will happen? The partly with PMC, project management consultant will be, they will be having a macro planning. There will be a project execution plan, which will each and every activities, every contractor scope, what has to be done, when it has to be done, how we are going to get the contractor on board. All those details will be in the project execution plan. There will be a macro schedule. That macro schedule for the different phases of the work, which we will be seeing in the next coming slide, that will be done by the project management consultancy. That will be in turn reviewed based on the contractual timing. The contractor has to prepare his detailed plan and he has to submit to the project management consultant. So this is the planning stage. In the planning stage, there will be a planning for the resources. Resources called manpower, material, machinery, 3 M's. That is far most important. And there will be one more thing, that risk management plan will evolve in this planning stage in detail. You can say it is more than a macro level, less than a micro level. It will be covering the whole risk involved. That will be done by a contractor. Macro level will be done by the project management consultancy. Then it will in turn passed on to the contracting company. They will be doing this. What is the rain forecast? What is the resource problem? So if you take COVID-19, now if you award any contract, the problem is resource, which drives the whole industry now. So what are all the risks involved? What are all the effect? What it is going to do it on the project? How we are going to mitigate? How to take the project online by mitigation? Those things will be given in the planning stage itself. So number of people to be deployed, and machineries to be deployed, materials to come in, all those things will be in detail, it will be given. So then get into the execution stage. This is the actual execution, moving into the site and all those things. So constructing the project, doing this, there will be a project management company or the owner will be controlling the project. Suppose say one block of the building foundation which you have to complete, say some X period. In between X period, the monitoring control will happen on daily basis or bi-weekly basis. It will be closely monitored whether you are on track or you are getting slip or you are moving ahead. There is a chance you are moving ahead also. There is a chance that you are lagging behind also. There is a good chance that you will be on time also. All those things will be done in monitoring and controlling process. Get into the knowledge area, which in turn give you the more depth details about the process, what I am talking in the process group. So the integration management knowledge area, the integration management is the one which integrate everything in a project, right from the feasibility study to till the handing over. Because this integration project will have, it's a place where it develops a project chapter and then it develops a project execution plan. Those things are more vital for a project. How we are going to do a project and what is going to be the charter, how to develop a charter, what are all the things required. All those things will be in this integration management. This integration management will have a spread over all other 9 knowledge. Then comes the scope management. The scope management has to be precisely defined. More the scope managing clarity is there, the project success rate is so high. Thing is, normally the scope has to be decided. That's called the scope of work statement. SOW statement used to call. What are all the works to be done? Who has to do what work? For example, you are hiring one contractor, keeping in mind that contractor will take care of entire packages of the project. Correct. That is in your mind. That has to come into the written format. Then that contract is called general contract. So you will have one single point of contact, that is a general contractor, who in turn will have n number of subcontractor or vendors to carry out the work. Electrical, mechanical, plumbing, IT, fire, life and safety. All those things will be done by the general contractor itself. But unless if you put it in the scope management, it won't be so clear to the contractor. So that's why the scope management is so specific. And while putting a scope management, you have to say what are all the roles of a project management consultant, what are all the roles of the other consultant, what is their scope, what are all the things will be in their scope. Those things has to be written. When you go to the contract, suppose you are decided to nominate different packages contractor, then there will be a lot of interface of work. Suppose one plumbing guy is doing a plumbing line, all the plumbing line, he will be having interface with the civil works. So to have the clarity with the package, whether civil contractor is going to do or the plumbing contractor, electrical contractor is going to. For example, chasing of a wall. That respective contract is doing fine. It's well and good. Okay. Who is going to do the packing? Who is going to do the bore pack? Those clarity has to come. Those clarity has to come. Unless those clarity has been defined in the scope management, that leads, if not defined properly, that will lead to scope creep. Normally, the project got delayed due to scope creeps only. When it is moving in a phase, people forget in-depth part of the each and every package drawings. They miss out something. Afterwards, they try to add up. There will be some lines in the BOQ, somewhere in the technical specification. They will say this is referred. Then contract then there will be time taken both to arrive at a acceptable conscious decision. So this is due to scope creep. And one more thing, whatever decision has been taken, that has to be taken for throughout the project. Suppose say you decided some 10 rooms on northern side. After constructing of that room, if you want to locate it on south side, whatever work you have done, it is gone waste and it has to be broken and new work has to be created. There is additional cost involved, additional time involved. Will take your project further 3 months delay. So the scope management has to be defined very perfectly for each package contract as well as the each and every consultancy. If that has scope stage, you can go for a closer very easily. If you have a shortcut or if you due to time constraint or something, if you miss out something in the scope management, which will in turn have an effect on the cost management and schedule management, sometime it will have an effect on the quality management and resource management also. And even it will have an effect on the procurement management also. Because last minute, if you go and add something, that is an item which has to be procured from USA, which has to come through ship, it cannot be airlifted. 8 weeks to reach the port, then 2 weeks to reach your site. So it is gone. 10 weeks has gone for that one particular item. You might have completed all other projects. The last minute decision of adding up something, which is a scope creep, which will take you through cost management, schedule management, quality management, resource and procurement management, which makes a risk management delay, which will show in risk management. Due to the scope creep, there will be a delay in deliverance, which will in turn will affect the stockholders. Suppose they might have planned to complete by August. The last minute decision you are taking on June 2nd week, and you are finalizing, and you have to transfer money 100% in advance. So that is happening whole June. Then that guy has shipment time, lead time. Stock, no issue. Suppose if he has to made to order, then he will take another 4 weeks. Then material will come somewhere in the December. Without that material, you cannot open your factory. So the scope creep, people are not at all understanding. Live to me, in my present project also it is happening. Mr. Kushal knows it very well. Mr. Kushal got affected, consultant got affected because of scope creep. See, the scope creep is happening because of the ignorance of the stakeholders. Only the project management consultant has to step in and explain them all the consequences in black and white. If you add up this is what going to happen. So instead of that, you open the factory and take it afterwards. So in the operation level, you can accommodate that. We will make the provision for that. Something has to happen like that. So that is totally a project management consultancy call on a control level, how to avoid the scope creep. If the scope creep is avoided, the deliverance of project is highly assured. So then comes the cost management. The cost management, there is a, say 150 crore is a budget. Fine, it is taken. Land, some amount, X amount is gone, remaining Y amount. PMC consultancy, other consultant fees is Z amount. The remaining fees has been given. So remaining is going to be this much amount. Within that budget, we have to construct the thing. So those modality be taken care consultant and it has to be controlled management consultant based on the cost. Suppose say you have, after all these things you are supposed to construct and your budget is going to 105 crore, then they have to go for a value engineering. Value engineering is not just a reduction of specification. You have to find the alternate mean to achieve the same specification and with the same timeline, so that There is no deviation in the specification. If nothing is happening, worst case you can go for change of specification. That's not a problem. But it has to serve to the purpose required. There should not be any deviation in the purpose. Purpose should not be deviate. The utility point of view, the purpose point of view, it has to stay as it is, and you can play within that. Value engineering has to happen in the cost management to bring the cost to 100 crore. Suppose initially they have put a cost of 100 crore, while running a project through a fiscal year or maybe 2 fiscal years, it may take you to again 105 crore. There will be chance of escalation. So how to control it? To control the escalation, you should have a clause in the contract. There is no escalation clause, or you have to make an escalation provision. Any one thing you have to do. Without that, if you put it blindfold, there will be for the project. Then comes the schedule management. Schedule management is nothing but the time delivery time of each and every results, right from the feasibility study to till the closer. There will be a defined timeline for each and every activity that has to be done on that period of time, and it has to be closed. The monitoring of this thing goes to the project management consultant normally, or maybe with owner. So it will go stage, pre-design stage also it will go for design deliverable or tender event schedule, bought out item, long lead item schedule. All those things will happen, goes on happening. So this schedule management is a thing which is driving a project. Without that, whatever activity you are planning, if you don't have a timeline, it doesn't have value. So I want to submit a XYZ estimate. That's all. Question is when you have to submit. So say 30th of May, R0, fine. After review, R2 I will submit on 2nd June. Something like that, each delivery bears a date. So that's what the schedule management is. It runs through the entire process of the project. Without schedule management, nothing is going to happen. Then comes the quality management. Quality management is a thing which is giving the desired result. Suppose, for example, a owner wants to build a Bentley car. Means what is the specification required for each and every component? It has to be manufactured. What is the material specification? What is the acceptance criteria for the material? What is the workmanship acceptance criteria? What is the quality level acceptance? So you can say accuracy, you can say precision. Suppose one particular item should be 1000 mm in length. You are able to manufacture it to 99.5 mm. The accuracy level. Precision is how many products, whatever you are producing, is having the same accuracy level. Out of 1000 products, able to maintain 999.5 mm on 990 product, that is called precision. That has to happen. So the precision together gives you the quality. If one thing is not happening properly also, the quality, because there is an acceptance. In the scope, there is a thing called acceptance. Say, I want this product. That product is manufactured. That has to be validated by quality management system. And it has to be accepted by scope management system. Then only the closure comes. If there is a non-acceptance in scope management, it is not matching to the requirement, again you have to start the production and you have to come back and again you have to make to the requisite quality level, and again it has to be validated, then again accepted. Then only the cycle goes. If it is accepted only, whatever project you are delivering is successful. If it is in non-acceptance stage, whatever you have done is It's very clear. It's not success. So quality management plays a vital role, and which is an implied role in each and every stage of the project, just like a schedule and cost management. Because these three things are, QCT is called an equilateral triangle. If cost and schedule is as taken as a base of a triangle, the apex is quality management. Scope creep, the cost is dragged back and the time is somewhere dragged back. The apex height will come down. So that is the thing. QCT forms a very big role in success of any project. Okay. Now, the next one is resource management. If you go to resource management, there are different types of resources. Now it has been called by PMBOK, it is human resources management. I just put it as a resource management to take the material also into place. Now I am focusing on human resources management. The staff's required, the tradesman's required to execute our work. All those things are called resource management. Here in the planning stage itself, you have to plan what are all the people required when they are required. It may be a staff, it may be a worker, it may be a tradesman. Who are all required when they are required, how many people required in this week, because it all of the sudden, just like a purchasing a material, you cannot mobilize a resource, that is human resource. You have to plan it, and to procure it, you will have at least a time period of 1 month to 45 days ahead. You have to plan. Well ahead, you have to plan. So if you initiate today, some people may join you after 30 days, some people may join 30 days. And you have to give them a training about your project and your company and your system of working, QMS, EHS policies, environmental policies, all those things you have to give an induction to them and make them to stabilize. Then only they can put in work. So this has to happen in the planning stage itself. Then it will be micro level fine-tuned in the execution stage. So this is mainly goes to the human resources, the deployment of resources, when it has to happen, how much quantity has to happen, and the disengagement of resources when the project closes. If you say it will be a bell curve, it will be a bell curve. It will go to a peak, then it will come back. So it has to be put in gradual mode. If it is all of the sudden peak and tapering down immediately, that's not the right planning. That planning has to happen in tandem with the schedule management. In tandem with the schedule management, this resource deployment management has to happen. Okay, so that is a more vital part. So the men, material, and machinery. So here human resources, we talk about men only. Okay, so then comes the communication management. See, there is a communication nowadays. Here is only through a written letter. Now it has been changed. There are a lot of format of communication, but there is a legal way of communicating, which is a written format or through a mail. Those two things are through a letterhead of a company or through a standard mail format. And for that also there is an authorization. Who has to communicate what? Suppose one site engineer is there, he cannot directly communicate to the CEO of the stakeholder, the ownership company. He has to follow a protocol. He has to send a mail to his project manager. In turn, that project manager has to send forward those mails with his comments to the project management consultant. Then it may, if you have anything to do with consultant, it will be directed to the consultant, or otherwise it will be go to the owner's management client, we can call. So that the protocol will be written for each and every project. Who has to communicate, what has to communicate to which level, who has to go up to the top, all those things will be there. That shows the communication management, which is communication management is one of the essential tools what is happening around, because this includes sending out the minutes of meeting, sending out the agenda, sending out the issues at the site. There is a risk evolved that can be forecasted, and you can send a mail, and you can send a request for information. You may request for a drawing, you can send a mail for that, and you can say there is a one extra item is coming which is not in a BOQ, so you have to go for a variation. You can raise all those things through a mail. Then to the particular format, you have to get it recorded. And next one is, before risk management, I will go to procurement management. So I just see the procurement management has been put in two formats. In some of the corporation, even selection process of a contractor, selection process of a vendor, what you call supplier, both together taken into procurement management. In some of the project management consultancy, they have taken tender-based items separately. They call this procurement management as a tender event schedule, where everything will be managed. And from there, some of the items which bought from outside, bought out items, there will be a process will be there. Same procurement management process that will have a bought out item schedule. Those two schedules will be there. In a hotel project, normally tender event schedule and bought out item schedule will be there. Why? The reason is that bought out items which will have a long lead, which has been made to order. So even it may require a year from the date of ordering. It may take a year to get a delivery. 9 months, 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, 18 months, like that delivery period will vary. So that bought out items will be normally put in a bought out item schedule. And the contract management, what you can say, that will be managed through a tender event schedule. When tender has been given, when pre-qualification request for proposal has been given, when list has been charted out, when the pre-qualification notice has been sent out to the valid bidder, and when the tender document is sent out, when they have to submit the document, when the pre-bid meeting for one has to happen, pre-bid 2 has to happen, when the tender has to be opened. So all these things, then the post-bid meeting, the negotiations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that, it will be in the Excel format. Those things will be in the bought out. What is the specification of the material? What is the company name? Who is going to supply it? Maybe the direct company item, or maybe through a dealer or through a C&F, where he is located, which country he is located, which state he is located, what is his contractor method, time zone variation, if any, and when the cost quotation has been arrived, when it has been negotiated, what is the purchase order released, any payment against LC has been made, when is going to be what is going to be the lead time, shipping time, what is going to be the manufacturing time, what is going to be the shipping time. So when it is going to arrive at the port, when it is going to get cleared in the custom, when it is going to reach your site, all those things will be in the bought out item sheet. Okay. So this is thing. Then risk management. The risk management is nothing but erasing out the uncertainty. How I call. I used to call risk management is nothing but erasing the uncertainty. There are two things. Certain risk can be managed without loss of time. Certain risk can be managed with additional cost. Certain risk with additional cost and additional timeline. Certain risk cannot be with timeline. It will prone to happen. So you have to accept. You have to accept, and based on that, you have to work further how to handle it and complete the work. So that is acceptance of the risk. So for that, identify the risk. What are all the risk? And you have to put it in a register called risk register. Then you have to classify it. There are two types of classification. One is based on probability, more like how likely it is going to happen. And secondly, and how I can say, what is the probability of occurrence? Whether it is going to be likely and whether it is having high risk or not. So those classification, the table is there that I will share with you in the future. So it will be assessed based on that. There will be a mitigation plan will happen. Certain risk cannot be mitigated, but you have to accept that risk and you have to see the way forward to complete the project without much delay. You have to take that. So these are all the things. And finally, that stakeholder management. Stakeholder management is a more vital format for project, because if all the three C's are not aligned together, then there is an issue. When there is a fourth C is missing, the three C's won't have a alignment with each other. First, client, consultant and contractor. Fourth C is coordination. If there is no proper coordination among the three, there will be a havoc at the project. There will be issue at the project. Everything will be go out of control. There will be delays in decisions. There will be ego clashes. There a lot of mess will happen in the site. So the 4 C's, out of 4 C, if fourth C is not there, all the other 3 C will get into a trouble of misunderstanding, miscommunicating. So the responsibility will be taken away from one person to other person. Like that, finally the result won't come. So the stakeholder management is important. In that, stakeholder identification, then stakeholder analysis, and stakeholder engagement. These three are important things in the stakeholder management. Okay, so then comes the initiation project. See, the main thing in the initiation of a project is identification of a project charter, develop a project charter, and you have to have a project execution plan. Along with that, you have to have a change control management system in place. Suppose you have designed something. For example, you have designed a 10 meter by 15 meter building. Then after drawing nearly getting ready, client wants to change it to 25 meter by 25 meter building. So you said yes, and you are doing it. But that has to go through a change control management process. And what are all the effect of that? What is going to be the additional cost line involved? What is the additional timeline involved? What is going to impact on the project? Whether there is a of the project or decrease in cost of the project, and how it is going to impact on the statutory level, whether the FSI floor space index, floor space area, all those rules are within a space. If any violation is happening, because of this, any other building footprint has to be reduced, built-up area has to be reduced. All those that design change request format. Okay, if the same thing happening somewhere in the execution stage, also this change control management has to come. That DCR has to be raised by the PMC and consultant, accepted by the consultant, and it has to go to the stakeholder, and he has to sign it and accept it. Then only that change can be implemented. Without that, change should not occur. You can principally in a mail you can say we accept, but this DCR and the cost process has to go. It has to get registered and it has to add in the budget or debit in the budget. All those details has to happen. Then only once the client sign off the change control management document, then only the change has to happen in the any design or change in specification, change in scope, anything. And these things will be covered in the integration management, which is a part of an initiation. That integration management go through all the 10 knowledge areas, and it covers in totally all the knowledge area will be integrated with this, and it will have all packets of this. What is happening over there, what is happening over there, all those things will be known in the project execution plan itself. And the project scope management. See, in project scope management, as you said, scope management, the SOW statement, which defines the role and responsibility of each and every person. And beyond that, if you go for a scope creep, it is going to cost you money or time or something or both. So in scope management, this is most important. SOW statement and scope creep is most important, most vital. If you miss out that, it will be, yeah. See, we have seen project life cycle. We have seen the process phases. In that, we have seen the knowledge areas. There is a other format in the construction management. The project can be defined in 3 phases. Again, pre-construction, execution, post-construction. So now we are talking about the pre-construction. This will say design development, statutory approval, budget, detailed timeline, tendering. The output what we get is detailed timeline and costing, GFC drawings, vendor on board. Very simple. Okay. These are all the things. So next one is construction management phases. Input, what do you give? Contract document you will give. GFC you will give. Macro timeline, which is from the planning stage you will give, and authorization to start work. That is called letter of award, letter of intent, LOI, to start the work. Then what will happen? Mobilization, statutory approval for start of work, which belongs to a contractor, project infrastructure establishment, and construction commencement, and micro planning. This micro planning includes timeline, resources, machineries, manpower, risk management, human resources management, and detailed cost management, everything of that package. The output will be, project will be getting into shape. So you will see in a different phases. If you see, if it is going to a closer phase, project will be finished. Specific quality management. What will happen in this quality management? Acceptance will happen. If you've done the thing as per the scope validation, you will get a, that's called specific quality management, specific HSC plan. In the construction, the input what you are given, we are getting the output. What I talked, detailed risk management plan, detailed procurement plan. All these things will happen when you give an input over here in the process. If you give output, will, this is the process and this is the output of that process. Then the planning phase we are talking about, which is in the pre-construction and in the execution. 100% planning shall be achieved on of 50% DD drawing. Control level planning will be of 100% GFC. Point will happen in the detailed information. Scope statement will be given to each stakeholders, because once contractor is on board in the planning stage, this information will be handy. It will be made, and the design change control system will be established, and it will be shared to the stakeholder mainly. I'm not able to move to the next slide. Yeah. See, in execution, long lead items. Long lead items. Long lead items. That's called the bought out items normally. That will be derived, order will be placed, procurement schedule, stakeholder schedule, and planning, design change requests, what we are talking the thing, change control management. The design change request is for cost and timeline impact, and change control management. Whatever we have written in design change request, that will be approval has been taken, that will be registered in the change control system registry. So this has to happen. In the execution stage, we will go for a construction where the procurement will be in tandem with the construction management. These things will happen in the construction management, but it is a continuous process. It is an iteration process. It will happen continuously throughout the construction phase. till the ending phase. Risk management. See, this risk management, initially it is evolved there, and detailed risk. See, severity of the risk will be noted. For example, identification of risk, risk register, taking care of all execution item. Wherever the risk is coming, those particular item will be noted down. Severity of the risk will be noted, categorized, and reviewed for every fortnight. That is more important. It is not once the plan is done and we are keeping quiet. Every fortnight it has to be reviewed. What are all the risk neutralized? What is the non-neutralized? Also will be categorized in the process. And mitigation plan, what has been taken, has also be reviewed. And whatever is completed will be closed. Any new mitigation plan is required will be taken up. And there is a quantitative and qualitative analysis for the risk. That is one important thing. After that, this report will be sent to the stakeholder through a PMC. Macro level will be done at the initiation process itself. That iteration will happen in the execution stage. Quality management. See, in quality management, there are three important things. One is called hold point. Another one is called witnessing. Third one is surveillance. Hold point is a place where the physical presence is required and it has to be checked, and on your presence, that particular things has to have hold point. Till that quality person reaches over there, that work will be under hold. That is called hold point. Witnessing. That's the second level of control. Work is happening, you have to go there, stand there physically and witness it, whether it is happening as per the quality management process and schedule. Then surveillance. Surveillance is nothing but an inspection. Random inspection. You can walk through and wherever the work is happening, you can make a surveillance, you can check it randomly and see whether it is as per the parameters. That is. The thing is, renewal and approval of method statement and checklist in planning stage, and rewriting the same as per the source statement at the execution stage. That is the one important criteria. Generally, we will have a QMS plan for a project. Specific to the project, it will be rewritten, fine-tuned at the execution stage. That contains pre-checklist, during execution checklist, and the post checklist. Three things will be there. And method will be random sampling, 100% sampling. Certain things require 100% sampling based on the technical specification and as per the code of guidance. Whether it is random sampling or 100% sampling, based on that we have to decide which type of sampling it has to go, and it will be iterated with quantitative and qualitative analysis and see whether it is in the acceptable limit, or it is whether within the tolerance or beyond the tolerance. If it is beyond tolerance, it will directly say it is not accepted. If it is within tolerance, it is accepted. Those things parameter will be arrived using quantitative and qualitative techniques. And as I told, establish a communication protocol and manage the communication control, which is more important for a project. What you are doing, the stakeholder has to know. So in the stakeholder management, already we have talked about identification of stakeholder, stakeholder register, stakeholder analysis, and engagement of stakeholder. That has to happen. Resource planning, already we have taken identification of resources, resource selection process. Here it is important. The resource selection process, you have to see the consistency and conformity of deliverance. Let it be a worker level, tradesman level, or the staff level. But everybody has to go through this. Then the resource development, it has to happen in a planning stage along with the procurement schedule. Broadband resource planning is done at planning stage. So initiation, after the initiation. Micro level planning is done at execution stage. Disengagement of resources, which has to be planned meticulously, because in the last stage, if you mismanage this for closer phase, you will be struggle with the resources. That should not happen. That monitoring and control, which is the foremost important. The monitoring control happen in different ways. It is normally by a project management company done through its project management offices. That project management office may be of operating of three types: supportive type, partial involvement, direct authority, direct control. You can say authority, instead of authority, direct control. So supporting means what they will do, they will give you the QMS documents, they will give you the checklist, they will give you the HSE document, HSE checklist in general. It is not pertaining to the project. So all those document, process, method, system will be given. Then you have to, project specific you have to make. And you have to get the client has to be implemented. Partially involved means they will involve partially what is happening. They will come for a weekly review meeting or fortnight review meeting or monthly review meeting, and they will take the stack of the situation and report to the client. So the top management. That is partial. Direct authority means right from appointing project manager to on daily basis, they will closely track. That's a direct authority method. These are all done on daily, weekly, fortnight, monthly basis. Tracking of schedule, lag in project is done on daily basis. If it is a mega project or a big project of 800 crore, 400 crore, 1000 crore, that schedule has to be tracked on daily basis. And mitigation action to be taken for the lagging. If there is a slippage, mitigation action will be taken then and there itself. Before next milestone date is complete, lag is happening, that has to get matched. Suppose say you have to complete this 10 footing concrete by today. You have completed only 6. Next week end, you have to suppose to complete 20 footing concrete. So by next week end, including this 4 slippage, 14 concrete you have to complete. So this is what the tracking, mitigation. Okay, then closer. In the closer phase, quality management, where the quantitative, qualitative analysis will be done and scope acceptance has to happen. And based on the scope acceptance only, documentation for handing over will happen. Documentation for handing over to the client as per the requirement, as per the norms, everything is happened. Then that will be accepted and document will be signed off. Then the approval, statutory approval for occupancy certificate will be started in stage wise. Suppose if you are external, you have completed, they can apply for it, CFO, and they can have a visit. The process will be on. So once you finish the handover, the OC has to be in place in a matter of a month or 2. So all those things used to happen. So that is a closer phase. Here, one important thing what has to be noted is in a closer phase, lesson learned from this project has to be written and documented for each and every category, all the knowledge area wise. Then what will happen? This will become the input to the next project so that the recurrence of a mistake or recurrence of a slippage can be avoided and it can be mitigated very easily. That is the most important thing. And finally, I thank you all for your time to provide me a chance to cover up the overview of a project. Still, it is a very broad band. You can know the terminology, you can know what is what, but in depth can be happen through all the knowledge area. Then only it is possible to you to understand each and every knowledge area. Thank you all, and so I'll come on video also.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kushal.
Sir, we are very much privileged to have you here.
Thank you.
And on behalf of all our participants, a hearty thanks to you.
Thank
Sir,
you.
just for 5 minutes, we
Yeah.
can have an interaction session.
Sure.
Participants. And guys, the session is open now for you all to interact. Any queries, any doubts, you can interact with Satish sir. And you can also chat with us with your doubts. There is a question raised. What if there is an issue with the stakeholder? How to proceed? I think it is in very much general.
No, I'm not getting the question. What is that?
That what if there is an issue with the stakeholder? How to proceed?
Yeah. See, normally you will have a issue with the stakeholder when three things have used to happen. One is slippage of timeline, then slippage of cost, or slippage of quality, or all the three. Only the four chances. Now you can add as a HSC also, safety. When these five things happen, the stakeholder, what I mean to say, is a client, owner, you can say, or the top management. They may not be happy with you because they are expecting you to deliver it. If it is getting slipped in any one of these area, you will have a very bad time to bring them to a acceptance level. Because it is going to be a very challenging time for you. It is not an easy time. It is going to be a very challenging time. So because what we face now also see, there is a COVID-19 situation. We are given some XY as a schedule of completion. Nearly, we are coming to a 2 months of timeline on a COVID. And partially laborers come for our work. And they are not working interestingly. The workers are not working interestingly. They have a dilemma of going back to their native. And in the present situation, we are able to increase the worker strength because that will give the contamination. We are afraid of. So it is a risk which you don't want to take, which is beyond our control. So that is very clear. My stakeholder is not accepting. It's a challenging situation. Either they have to accept a realistic date of acceptance, delivery, or I have to, which is the highest risk. Suppose say, I have increased a team of my workers. Suppose one of the workers was found positive. Then whole other vendors project will come to a stop. It will be locked down for a period of X, Y, Z months. None of us know. So the risk of stoppage of project, date deliverance, both has to be compared. And you have to explain to the key stakeholder, this is the situation. They are accepting it, but still they want us to complete it by the timeline what they have. Pre-COVID delivery time is 2 months only. You add 2 months and deliver it. So it is a tricky situation. Handling them is very tricky because they are most demanding. Those things, if you directly point out there is a mistake also, there will be a problem to you. The ego will prop up. That is going to happen. It has happened in a lot of cases with me also. But you have to say the truth. You have to put it in such a way that accept. No other way. So there is no shortcut. It is a challenging environment. Only quality and safety, you have to take it as a first and top priority, and you have to be so stringent on it. And the timeline, if it is this way, that way, you can manage it. If you miss out in safety and quality, then stakeholder will jump on you. Your time will be in a misery. Right from the day in to day out, you will feel stressed. You feel stressed, no doubt. For the execution or for the consultancy also, you will feel stressed. So this is a real situation. It is a very challenge. You have to play it with emotional quotient. with emotional intelligence. Then it is manageable. Without emotional intelligence quotient, if you try to manage with your intelligent quotient, you can't handle the situation.